All right, so are you ready to take a peek into the future? Because that's what we're doing today. Remember those transparent TVs? Like everybody was talking about them a few years ago?
Yeah,
Well, LG just blew the roof off that whole concept at CES 2025.
I saw that.
We're talking about windows that can show you the weather forecast furniture with screens built right in and stores that will just blow your mind with their digital displays. And guess what? We've got all the latest articles and research piping hot, and we're going to unpack all the coolest stuff.
I'm ready.
So what really stood out to me was that LG isn't just showing off fancy prototypes.
Right.
They're actually showing us how this tech could be part of our everyday lives.
I think that's what's really exciting here. They're not just showing off prototypes.
Right.
It's like they're showing how this is going to be something we're going to be living with soon.
Exactly. It's remember when curved TVs were the big thing? It kind of felt like a gimmick, you know? But with this transparent display stuff, LG is actually weaving it into the fabric of our spaces.
Yeah, and they're turning it from a what if
Yeah.
to a how soon.
Okay, but let's be real for a second.
Okay.
How good can a see-through screen really be? I mean, we've all seen those washed out ghostly images on the older transparent displays, right? Is that something we really want in our home?
Well, that's where LG's advancements with OLED technology come in.
Okay.
They've tackled the image quality thing head on.
Okay.
We're talking vibrant colors, sharp contrasts,
Really?
and touch responsiveness.
Mhm.
That's just as good as any regular screen.
So no more squinting at a faint image to see your notifications?
No, not at all. And what I think is so cool is that they're putting a dark background behind the display
Oh.
to absorb extra light. So it's really clever
That's smart.
to make the images pop even in a really bright room.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they've nailed the visuals. But what about that whole clunky interface thing that those older transparent displays had?
Yeah, so LG has really focused on the user experience this time around.
Good.
They're showing off interfaces that are intuitive and responsive.
Nice.
And I'd even say elegant, touch controls that just feel natural, using your phone.
Okay, I'm starting to get it, but can we talk about some of the cool stuff they showed off at CES?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to talk specs, but it's another to actually see it in action.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the demos that I thought was really interesting was the transparent OLED display that they put into a coffee table.
Oh,
Imagine it's you're catching up on the news or something while you're drinking your coffee.
okay.
Or scrolling through family pictures when you have friends over.
Wait, hold on. Let's pause there for a second.
Okay.
This whole integrating it into furniture thing,
Yeah.
it brings up some interesting questions. We're already drowning in information all the time,
Yeah.
always checking our phones and laptops and everything.
Yeah.
Isn't this just going to add to all that digital noise?
Well, I think that's a really good point, but LG's vision seems to be about creating a more balanced relationship
Okay.
with technology.
Mhm.
Information is there when you need it, instead of it always fighting for your attention.
So it's creating a sense of calm
Yes.
in the middle of all that digital chaos.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah, and this is all still evolving.
Yeah.
LG and all those companies are trying to figure out how to avoid information overload and be more mindful about how they integrate this stuff.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got coffee tables that can show us information. What else?
Well, they took the whole window as a display concept
Oh, yeah.
to a whole new level.
Okay.
Imagine you're checking the weather forecast right on your window,
Cool.
or looking at traffic as you're getting ready to leave.
Yeah.
They even showed windows displaying artwork.
Oh, wow.
So they basically turned windows into digital canvases.
That's wild. But hold on. If we're going to have windows as displays. Yeah.
What about energy efficiency?
Right.
Don't transparent OLEDs use a lot of power?
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And LG seems to be working on that.
Yeah.
They've made their transparent OLED panels way more energy efficient.
Oh, okay.
Plus, they have these ambient light sensors that
That's-
adjust the brightness automatically
Oh, nice.
based on how bright it is in the room.
So they're thinking about both the looks and saving energy.
Exactly.
I like that.
They're also playing around with putting solar cells right into the displays,
What?
which could offset some of the energy they use.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So we've got coffee tables, we've got windows.
Uh-huh.
What else? Don't tell me they stopped there.
Oh, they didn't stop there. They had this amazing showcase for retail applications.
Okay.
Imagine store windows that come alive with interactive displays that draw you in with dynamic content and personalized recommendations.
Wait, whoa.
Yeah.
Personalized recommendations beamed right at me.
As I'm walking by. That seems a little invasive, doesn't it?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah.
LG wants everything to be seamlessly integrated, but there's like a fine line between being convenient
Right.
and being creepy.
Yeah.
We got to think about privacy as this technology keeps developing.
You're telling me, imagine walking down the street and every store is like analyzing your shopping habits.
Right.
And blasting you with targeted ads. It's
Yeah.
like a dystopian nightmare.
Yeah, it's something we need to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
We need companies like LG to be open about how they collect data
Yeah.
and give people control over their information.
I agree. So we've got a lot to unpack here.
We do.
LG is really pushing the limits of what's possible with transparent displays.
Yeah.
From furniture to windows to like entire stores.
Yeah.
It's super exciting. But we definitely need to think about the ethics of it all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think LG is showing us a future where technology is like woven into our lives, but it's important to be careful and make sure we stay in control of our data and our digital well-being.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
But before we get too deep into the ethics rabbit hole, let's take a quick break.
Sounds good.
We'll be back in a bit to dive deeper into how these transparent displays actually work
I'm looking forward to it.
and what all this means for the future.
Yeah, me too.
Stick with us.
Okay. Welcome back. We're right in the middle of exploring LG's transparent world.
Yeah, and honestly, it's pretty hard not to get like swept away with all the possibilities, you know?
It really is. It's like we're living in a sci-fi movie sometimes with this stuff.
I know, right? Like those interactive storefronts we were just talking about. It's crazy. That's what I love about this deep dive, though.
What's that?
We're not just looking at new gadgets. We're actually talking about how this tech could change our lives, like in a really big way.
Exactly.
Okay. But I gotta ask,
Yeah.
all this is super cool, but how do these transparent displays even work? Like, what's the science behind making a screen see-through?
So basically it all comes down to the type of display technology.
Okay.
Unlike your regular LCD or LED screens that need a backlight,
Right.
transparent displays use a different method that allows light to pass through them.
So instead of blocking the light, they kind of let it shine through.
Exactly.
It's kind of wild to think about, right?
Yeah, it goes against everything we think we know about screens.
I know. So one of the most common technologies we see is OLED, right?
OLED, or organic light emitting diode.
Mm-hmm.
OLED displays are made up of these organic materials
Wow.
that emit light when you pass an electric current through them.
So instead of having a backlight for the whole screen,
Yeah.
each pixel is like its own little tiny light.
Exactly. And because OLED pixels don't need a backlight,
Yeah.
the displays can be super thin
Oh, wow.
and flexible, which opens up so many possibilities for transparent designs.
Okay, so that explains the transparent part. But how do they get the images to be so bright and clear?
Yeah. Even with the light passing through the screen, doesn't that like wash out the image?
Yeah, that's where the real cleverness comes in.
Okay.
LG's engineers have some tricks up their sleeves to make the images look really good.
Like what?
One technique is they put a dark background behind the display
Okay.
to soak up any light that goes through the transparent pixels.
So it's like a black curtain behind a stage,
Exactly.
making the colors on stage stand out more.
You got it. It's all about controlling the light and contrast to create an image that pops.
Even on a see-through screen.
Right.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
So they've got the transparent and the vibrant down, but what about clarity?
Yeah.
I remember those old transparent displays always looking kind of grainy and pixelated.
That's actually a myth.
Really?
The resolution on transparent displays can be just as good as a regular screen.
Huh.
The pixels are designed to be super efficient,
Okay.
so they produce crisp, clear images even with transparency. It's all thanks to those advances in material science and manufacturing.
So LG is really pushing the limits here with OLED.
They are.
But is there any other competition in the transparent display world?
Oh yeah, there are a few up-and-comers to watch out for.
Like who?
One that's super promising is microLED.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
It uses tiny LEDs as the light source for each pixel.
Okay.
So it could potentially be even brighter and have better contrast than OLED.
So it's like taking all the good things about LED and shrinking it down.
Exactly. It's still early days for microLED,
Yeah?
but it could be a game changer for transparent displays.
Especially for stuff that needs to be really bright.
Right, like imagine shop windows that look crystal clear,
Yeah.
even in direct sunlight.
Yeah. I remember seeing some hype about microLED a few years ago.
Yeah.
What's holding it back?
Well, the manufacturing process is really complicated
Okay.
and expensive.
How so?
It's kind of like putting together a puzzle where the pieces are like dust particles.
Oh, well.
But as they get better at making them and the cost comes down,
Right.
we could see micro EG everywhere.
So we've got OLED leading the pack right now,
Yeah.
with micro LED waiting in the wings. The future of transparent displays is looking pretty bright.
I'd say so.
Pun intended.
Of course.
But okay, let's be realistic for a second.
Okay.
What are some of the challenges manufacturers still need to overcome?
Well, one of the biggest is cost.
Makes sense.
Transparent displays are still pretty pricey to make
Yeah,
compared to like your regular LCD or LED screen.
right.
So figuring out how to streamline production
Yeah.
and get the costs down is going to be super important.
I can imagine that the materials they use are probably pretty specialized
You're right.
and therefore expensive.
Exactly. The organic materials in OLEDs and those tiny LEDs and micro LED displays
Yeah.
need really specific manufacturing processes,
Okay.
which makes them more expensive.
So it's like a catch-22.
Yeah,
The price needs to come down for people to buy them. But they need people to buy them to get the price down.
that's the challenge.
I see.
Another hurdle is durability.
Okay.
Transparent displays are more likely to get scratched
Right.
compared to displays that has a glass layer protecting them.
So they need to be handled with care.
Yeah, which can be a problem for things like public displays or furniture.
Yeah, where people could bump into them.
Exactly. Manufacturers are trying out different materials
Okay.
and coatings to make them tougher,
Good.
but it's still something they're working on.
What are they looking at?
They're looking at scratch-resistant coatings
Okay.
and even self-healing materials.
Self-healing materials for displays.
Yeah, it sounds like science fiction,
It really does.
but it's a real thing, and it could make transparent displays way more durable.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So cost and durability are two big challenges.
Uh-huh.
Are there any technical things that still need work?
Well, one area where transparent displays are still behind is color accuracy.
Oh.
Getting the colors perfect on a see-through screen is tricky
Yeah.
because the light passing through can change how the colors look.
So you can't have both transparency and perfect colors.
It's a tough balance,
Yeah.
but they're getting closer.
Okay.
They're making new materials and pixel designs that are better at keeping the colors accurate,
Good.
even when the screen is transparent.
Nice.
And they're also
Well-
working on color calibration techniques
Uh-huh.
to fine-tune the display for different lighting.
So it's like a constant process of making things better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another challenge is getting high refresh rates,
Yeah.
which are important for smooth motion.
Right, especially for gaming and videos.
Yeah, a low refresh rate can make things look blurry,
Mm-hmm.
which can be annoying.
I know exactly what you mean. I upgraded my gaming monitor
Yeah.
to a higher refresh rate, and it was a huge difference.
It's like night and day.
Totally.
Yeah.
How are transparent displays doing in that department?
They're getting better, but still have some catching up to do. It's all about how fast the pixels can respond, which can be hard with the materials they use right now.
So the material scientists and engineers have their work cut out for them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They're the ones pushing the limits, finding new materials and techniques.
Yeah.
And they keep coming up with amazing stuff.
It's really incredible when you think about it.
Yeah.
All of the work that goes into creating these displays.
It's really inspiring.
So we've covered the science, we've talked about the different technologies, and we've looked at the challenges.
Right.
Now for the fun part.
Okay.
What's the potential here? Where do you see this technology going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Okay, so I think the next 5 to 10 years are going to be huge for transparent displays.
Really?
I think the cost will come down,
Duh.
they'll get more durable,
Okay.
and the performance is going to get even better.
So we might see transparent displays in ways we can't even imagine right now?
Absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
imagine walking down the street and seeing shop windows turn into interactive displays
Wow.
showing products and information in a way that blends right into the street.
It's like we're stepping into the future.
And imagine your living room window
Yeah.
becoming a home entertainment system,
Wow.
showing movies and games without blocking your view.
I love that. Our cities might look completely different in a decade or two.
I think so we could see transparent displays in furniture,
Okay.
appliances, even cars,
Oh, yeah.
making our lives easier in so many ways.
Like how?
Like a fridge door that shows you recipes
Okay.
based on what's inside, or a car dashboard that gives you information without blocking your view.
So it's like information is all around us.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds convenient, but also maybe a little overwhelming.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I think the key is to design interfaces that are easy to use,
Okay.
that understand what you need, and that give you control over what you see.
So it's not just about being bombarded with information all the time.
Right. It's about having it there when you want it and being able to choose what you interact with.
I like that. So transparent displays could help us have a better relationship with technology.
I think so. It's about making technology work for us,
Yeah.
not the other way around.
Okay. I'm on board with that. So we've talked about all the amazing possibilities, but what about the impact on our lives? Like, how will this actually change how we live, work, and interact with the world?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say for sure, but I have some thoughts.
Okay, listening.
I think one of the biggest changes will be in how we get information.
Okay.
Transparent displays could break down the walls between the physical and digital worlds,
Yeah.
making information a natural part of our everyday experiences.
So instead of being glued to our phones or staring at computer screens, we can just like access information in a more intuitive way.
Exactly, like it's woven into our surroundings.
Okay, I like that. So give me an example.
Okay, imagine walking through a museum and seeing information about the artifacts right there in the glass cases.
Oh, cool.
Without having to look at a guidebook or listen to a tour.
I can see that.
Or imagine going to a conference
Okay.
and having real-time translations of the presentations displayed on a transparent screen right in front of you.
That would be awesome.
Right? It would make it so much easier to understand.
Yeah, and more engaging too.
Exactly.
So it's about making information more accessible.
Yes.
More engaging and more personalized.
Exactly.
This could change everything for education and tourism.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine classrooms where kids can interact with 3D models of historical objects,
Wow.
or explore the human body in augmented reality,
That's amazing.
or even travel to different planets through VR.
Okay, now you're just showing off
I know, right?
all in these transparent displays.
Yeah.
That would make learning so much fun.
I think so.
No more boring classes.
Why?
I can see it now. And what about work?
Oh yeah, in the workplace, transparent displays could change how we collaborate and communicate.
Okay, how so?
Imagine brainstorming sessions where ideas are literally brought to life on transparent whiteboards,
Okay.
or video calls where it feels like everyone's sitting right across from you,
Oh, wow.
no matter where they are in the world.
That would be a game changer for remote work.
I think so. It's all about making work more connected and engaging.
Yeah, especially now that so many people work remotely.
Exactly.
It's like we're bringing people together even when they're apart.
Yeah, and let's not forget about entertainment.
Oh, yeah, right?
Transparent displays could change how we watch movies,
Okay.
play games, and even go to live events.
Like how?
Imagine your living room window becoming a giant transparent screen for movie night.
Oh, wow.
It would be so immersive.
I love that.
And you could still see what's going on outside.
That's amazing.
It's like blurring the lines between reality and fantasy.
Yeah, I can see myself watching a nature documentary and feeling like I'm right there in the jungle or something.
It's going to be amazing. The possibilities for transparent displays in entertainment are endless.
Okay, I'm sold.
Ugh.
But hold on, all this talk about convenience and entertainment and stuff,
Yeah.
shouldn't we also be thinking about the potential downsides?
Of course, any new technology comes with risks,
Right.
and we need to think about those too. One of the biggest concerns with transparent displays is privacy.
Yeah, you're right.
We talked about those personalized recommendations in stores.
Yeah, it could get creepy fast.
It could go from helpful suggestions to tracking your every move.
Exactly. And as these displays pop up everywhere, we
Yep.
need to be careful about how our data is being used.
Right, who has access to it? And
Yeah.
how is it being used to influence our choices?
It's a good question.
We need answers.
It's about finding that balance between convenience and privacy. We can't just throw away our privacy for the sake of new tech.
I agree. We also need to be aware of distractions and information overload.
Yeah, that's true.
With transparent displays everywhere,
Yeah,
it's going to be important to find a way to stay focused.
right. Because instead of simplifying our lives,
Yeah,
these displays could actually make things more overwhelming.
it's a possibility. We need to design them carefully
Okay.
so they don't become a source of stress.
It's a tough challenge.
It is.
Yeah.
We need to be mindful and intentional about how we use this technology.
So we can make it work for us,
Exactly.
not against us.
Right.
Okay, so we've talked about how this will affect how we get information, education, work, entertainment. What about society as a whole?
That's a great question.
How might transparent displays change our culture and our values?
I think that's one of the most important things to think about.
Yeah.
As these displays become more common,
Yeah.
they could change how we see reality, privacy, and even human connection.
It's like we're entering a whole new world
It is.
where the lines between physical and digital are blurred. It's
Yeah.
exciting, but also a little scary.
I know what you mean. It's like we're on the edge of something new,
Yeah.
full of potential, but also uncertainty.
So what are some of the big questions we need to ask ourselves?
Well, one of the biggest is, how will this technology affect our sense of reality?
Okay.
As we get used to interacting with information and entertainment through transparent displays, will it change how we see the real world?
Yeah, like will we start to prefer the digital over the physical?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We already see this happening a little bit
Right.
with social media and VR,
Right.
where people can get so caught up in the digital world that they neglect their real-life relationships.
Yeah, that's true.
And transparent displays could make this even worse.
Yeah.
Because they make it even easier to blend the digital and physical.
So we need to be really careful
We need to find ways to keep a healthy balance.
between the real and the digital.
Oh, exactly.
So it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about how we use it.
Exactly. We need to be mindful and intentional,
Okay.
making sure technology serves us
Yeah,
without taking over our lives.
I like that. So we need to be proactive in shaping the future of transparent displays,
I think so.
making sure they enhance our lives
Uh-huh.
without compromising our values.
Absolutely.
It's a big challenge.
It is, but it's one we need to face.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've talked about how this will affect how we get information, education work, entertainment, and even society as a whole.
It's a big topic.
It is, but it's an important one.
I agree.
As these technologies become more and more common, we need to have these conversations.
We do.
So we can make sure they're used for good.
Absolutely.
Well said. This has been a really eye-opening discussion.
It has.
We've explored the science,
Yeah.
the potential applications, and the bigger picture implications of transparent displays.
It's been a great conversation.
I agree. It's clear that we're on the verge of a technological revolution,
We are?
and transparent displays are going to play a huge role.
I think so.
It's an exciting time to be alive.
It is.
Seeing all this innovation happening right in front of us.
It's amazing.
But we can't just get caught up in the excitement.
Right.
We need to approach these advancements with caution, too.
Exactly. We need to be mindful of the risks
Yeah.
while also embracing the potential.
I think that's a perfect way to sum things up.
I agree.
We'll be back soon to wrap up our deep dive into the world of transparent displays.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring LG's vision for a future filled with transparent displays.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. We've talked about the possibilities, even the ethical stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about.
It is, but I feel like there's one piece missing.
Oh, what's
Who else is playing in this transparent tech game? We've been focused on LG,
Right.
but they're not the only ones innovating in this space.
Oh, definitely not.
So who else is out there making waves with transparent displays?
Well, you've got the big names, of course.
Like,
Samsung, Panasonic.
okay, yeah, those make sense.
They've been putting a lot of resources into this tech, and they're coming out with some impressive prototypes.
So it's like a tech race to see who can come up with the coolest transparent display.
It kind of is, but that's a good thing.
How so?
Competition pushes everyone to be better,
Right.
to innovate more. We're seeing new materials, new manufacturing techniques,
Okay.
even new ways to use the technology itself.
So it's good for consumers, ultimately.
Exactly.
Okay, so those are the big players.
Yeah.
What about the smaller companies? Any startups doing cool things with transparent displays?
Oh, yeah, there are a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Companies like Layard and Pro Display are really making a name for themselves,
Cool.
especially in specific areas like transparent LED displays for big installations and digital signs.
So they're finding their niche,
Exactly. And they're often more willing to experiment with new ideas.
which can lead to breakthroughs.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the companies, but let's talk real-world applications.
Right.
Where are we actually seeing transparent displays being used today? Is this still like a far-off future thing?
Well, it's starting to happen.
Yeah.
We're seeing them pop up in different industries.
Right.
One area that's really taking off is retail.
Okay.
They're using them in store windows, product displays, even interactive kiosks.
So basically, instead of those boring old mannequins and posters,
Yeah.
we're going to have store windows that come alive with interactive displays.
Exactly. Imagine walking past a store
Okay.
and seeing a 3D model of the latest smartphone,
Wow.
like spinning and changing colors right there in the window.
That's cool. Or a fashion store where
Yeah.
you can try on clothes virtually
Right.
without even going inside.
Exactly.
That sounds amazing, but isn't that super expensive for stores?
It can be, but the price is going down as the tech gets better.
Okay.
Plus, it can really help stores stand out.
Attract customers.
Exactly, and ultimately sell more stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. So retail is one area.
Uh-huh.
What else?
Another big one is cars.
Okay, how so?
Imagine your windshield becomes a heads-up display.
Okay.
It can show you your speed directions, even warning messages,
Wow.
all without blocking your view of the road.
Wait, a transparent display right on the windshield. Wouldn't that be distracting?
Actually, studies show that it can make driving safer
Really?
because you don't have to take your eyes off the road as much.
How interesting.
The information is displayed in a way that's easy to see quickly.
Okay, so it's actually safer.
Exactly.
And it sounds pretty cool too. Like I could see myself driving down the highway
Yeah.
with my windshield showing me traffic updates, points of interest, even restaurant recommendations.
Right. It's like having a co-pilot.
That's amazing.
And it's coming soon.
Right.
A lot of car companies are already testing them out.
So we might see them in cars pretty soon.
I think so.
Okay, so retail and cars are two big areas.
Yeah.
What else is on the horizon for transparent displays?
Oh, there are so many possibilities.
We're seeing them in public places like airports, train stations, even museums. Okay, I can see that. Like in airports, they could show you gate information, flight times.
Exactly. And baggage claim updates.
That would be super helpful.
It would make traveling so much less stressful.
I agree. And what about museums?
They could use them to make exhibits more interactive.
Oh, cool.
Like you could see digital information layered over the real artifact.
That would be
It
amazing.
would be a much richer learning experience.
So basically, transparent displays can make public spaces better for everyone.
Yeah, more informative, engaging, accessible.
I like it. But those aren't the only areas, right?
Nope, we're just getting started.
Tell me more.
We're seeing early adoption in healthcare.
Okay.
They're using transparent displays in hospital rooms to give patients access to information and entertainment without taking up space.
Oh, that's smart.
And in education, these displays could completely change how we teach.
Yeah, those boring old whiteboards and projectors are so last century.
I know, right? Imagine classrooms where kids can learn in these immersive environments
Yeah.
with subjects coming to life right in front of them.
That would be awesome.
And even in architecture, they're using transparent displays in building facades
Not.
to create dynamic, interactive spaces that respond to the environment.
Okay, now that's just futuristic.
It is, but it's happening.
This is incredible. It seems like transparent displays could change almost everything.
I think so. We're just at the beginning.
Yeah.
As the technology gets even better, we'll see even more creative uses that we can't even imagine yet.
It's a really exciting time to be following this tech.
It is. It feels like we're witnessing a technological revolution.
Totally, but we can't forget about the challenges and the ethical stuff we talked about.
You're absolutely right. We need to be aware of the potential downsides.
Yeah, like privacy and security.
Exactly, and even how it might affect our relationships with each other.
We need to be having these conversations.
We do, so we can make sure this technology is used for good.
Well said. I think that's a perfect place to wrap up our deep dive into the world of transparent displays.
It's been an amazing journey.
It really has. We've covered so much ground, from the tech to the applications to the big questions about the future.
It's been a pleasure exploring all of this with you.
Likewise. And to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the transparent future.
We hope you've enjoyed it.
Until next time.